Good morning, everyone. This is Carolyn reading to you from the Fall River Reporter on Tuesday, September 24th. Our first story today is entitled, Space Where Fall River Sports Pub Used to Be, Now Up for Lease. What Should Go There? By Ken Pava. A suspended Fall River sports pub who has previously run into problems has apparently closed for good. Members of the Fall River Police Department appeared in front of the licensing board in June for a show cause hearing concerning Mickey Doyle's at 380 Rhode Island Avenue. According to Detective Sergeant Moses Pereira, at just before 12:30 a.m. on June 4th, officers responded to the 200 block of America Street in response to reports that shots had been fired in the area. Residents reported hearing the sound of approximately 5 gunshots from the nearby commercial plaza, followed by a black-colored sedan leaving the area. A canvass of the area led to the discovery of multiple spent shell casings, as well as apparent projectile damage to a business within the plaza. Investigators located additional evidence to include a shoe and droplets of blood. A 33-year-old male later checked into Charlton Memorial Hospital Emergency Department with an apparent gunshot wound to his right thigh area. At the licensing board meeting, police stated that there was a blood trail from the back door of Mickey Doyle's to America Street, and blood splatter was reportedly found inside the building. Officers also stated that the video cameras weren't working, which was a stipulation for the bar to stay open after it was suspended for a month in August of 2022. When officers questioned management if anything had happened in the pub, they said no. Management did not show up to the meeting, and the board had previously warned the establishment due to previous issues. The board also noted that other actions agreed upon to stay open was not adhered to, including paying for details. The board ruled that Mickey Doyle's would be closed immediately for the rest of the year with the liquor license removed. The board also stated that management must go in front of the board and adhere to the entire action plan agreed upon in 2022 before reopening. It appears now that the reopening will never take place. Last week, the property where the pub was located was listed available immediately for lease, with the space needing renovation. The property has since been cleaned out. What business will occupy 380 Rhode Island Avenue remains to be seen. In crime news, our next story today is entitled Fall River Man Sentenced to Prison Concerning Fatal Shooting of Fall River's Maurice Timberlake, by Ken Pava. A Fall River man has been sentenced to prison concerning the murder of another city man. 25-year-old Keyshawn Workman was sentenced to 30 years to life in prison on murder and carrying a firearm without a license charges in Fall River Superior Court Monday. Fall River Police received 911 calls around 4:30 p.m. on Valentine's Day 2018 regarding shots fired and a male victim in the area of 408 South Main Street. When police and other first responders arrived on the scene, they located 24-year-old Maurice Timberlake of Fall River, who had sustained gunshot wounds. The victim was rushed to St. Anne's Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Timberlake was reportedly leaving the courthouse when he was shot. A then 19-year-old workman was taken into custody by Fall River Police in the Corky Row section of Fall River shortly after the shooting was reported. According to multiple reports, Workman reportedly told police that he thought that Timberlake had shot him in a previous shooting and became enraged once he saw him. It turned out to be mistaken identity, however. The picture that accompanies this story is a picture of Keishon Workman. The next story today in Community News is entitled Free Swansea Haunted House Opening for Second Year, Collecting Pet Food Donations for Shelter by Ken Pava. Swansea residents are looking to offer the public a free Scary Good time while helping a local charity for the second year in a row. A haunted house at 83/91 Smoke Rise Circle will be open this weekend until October 31st. The Scare is open for walkthroughs from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Fridays and Saturdays will have a haunt with live actors. Strobe lights, fog, clowns, and uneven ground were featured in last year's house. You are asked to not touch the actors or the props. While the experience is free of charge, cat and dog food will be collected and donated to the Swansea Animal Shelter. And there's a picture that goes with this story of the front of the haunted house. And another story in Community News. Massachusetts State Police bury one of their own, a 43-year-old who died unexpectedly, by Ken Pava. A state trooper is being remembered after dying suddenly recently. On Saturday, Massachusetts State Police laid their brother, Sergeant Scott Hayes, to rest. According to an obituary, the 43-year-old Hayes was remembered for his smile, his laugh, his wittiness, and his willingness to help anyone at any time in need who was warm, kind, and loyal. He was accepted into the Massachusetts State Police in 2011 after he completed the Massachusetts State Police Academy with the 80th Recruit Training Troop. Scott was stationed at the Danvers State Police Barracks. This is where he established long-standing friendships with his fellow troopers. While stationed in Danvers, Scott was assigned to the Massachusetts State Police Motorcycle Unit. In 2023, Scott was promoted to sergeant, and he worked at both the Charlton and Holden Barracks before being transferred to the Medford Barracks. At the request of Scott's family, please omit flowers and direct donations in Scott's memory to the Hayes Family Fund. A cause of death was not released. However, information gathered by Fall River reporter leads us to believe the death was not heart or vaccination related. The picture that accompanies this story is of State Trooper Sergeant Scott Hayes, his wife, and his 2 children. For our next story, we'll go back to crime news. Man held without bail pleads not guilty after shooting multi-vehicle crash in Fall River, by Ken Pava. A man charged by Fall River Police after a shooting and a multi-vehicle crash on Saturday night has pled not guilty at his arraignment. A plea of not guilty was entered on behalf of 35-year-old Miguel Angel Acosta Montalvo Monday in Fall River District Court. He was held without bail pending completion of a dangerous hearing. According to Detective Sergeant Moses Pereira, at approximately 10:45 p.m., units responded to the Riverside Sports Bar on Rodman Street in response to reports of a possible shooting incident outside of the establishment. During the investigation, officers discovered that a patron in the business had attempted to antagonize a male and female with whom he previously had had an altercation at another location. When the man appeared to have left the area, the parties quickly attempted to leave in their vehicle, only to have the male return and discharge multiple rounds in the direction of the victim's vehicle. No one was struck by the gunshots. While speaking with officers at the scene, one of the victims alerted the officers to the presence of a Chevrolet Silverado at a nearby traffic light. The victim identified the operator of the vehicle as responsible for the shooting. Officer Jimmy Page initiated a traffic stop of the Chevrolet. While Officer Page was attempting to make the traffic stop, the Chevrolet struck 3 parked vehicles before coming to a complete stop. Pereira stated that the operator, Acosta Montalvo, was removed from his vehicle and placed under arrest. Officers noted the presence of a firearm magazine in the vehicle. Montalvo is charged with possession of a firearm without an FID, possession of ammunition without an FID, assault with a dangerous weapon, 3 counts, leaving the scene of an accident causing property damage, 3 counts, fail to stop for police, armed assault to murder, 3 counts, receiving stolen property, and OUI liquor. During the investigation, officers were able to locate a firearm on a sidewalk on Rodman Street. The crime scene unit responded to assist with documentation of the scene and collection of evidence. Acosta Montalvo's next court appearance is a detention hearing scheduled for Thursday. And the picture that goes with this story is of Miguel Angel Acosta Montalvo. And our next story in crime news: Fall River woman looking for public's help after new vehicle damaged by projectiles, by Ken Pava. A Fall River woman is looking for the public's help. According to the victim, her 3-day-old truck was damaged on Saturday night, and she is hoping someone has video that captured the incident. Anyone with cameras toward the corner of Bedford and Covell Streets have cameras? Someone shot my new truck window 2 times with what looks like it could be a BB gun and cracked the window. The truck had a crack in at least 2 locations, according to photos provided by Garcia. A call via scanner transmissions documented the incident. If you have a video of the incident, contact Fall River Police. And also in crime news, 3 previously wearing masks arrested after chase crash into Plymouth County Fire Station that knocks out power, by Ken Pava. 3 are facing charges after a crash led to a fire and damage to a fire department station. According to Detective Lieutenant Michael Squera, shortly after 1 a.m. Monday, Kingston Police Department received a call relative to 3 individuals arriving at the caller's home wearing masks and threatening to assault the caller. Further conversation revealed that at least one suspect was possibly known to the caller, and that the suspects may be armed with knives and firearms. The caller reported the suspects left, but were headed to a residence on Nottingham Drive in an alleged attempt to assault someone else. The caller provided a vehicle and suspect descriptions. Officers responded to Nottingham Drive and immediately located a matching vehicle occupied by 3 individuals in the middle of the roadway in front of the next victim's residence. The occupants of the vehicle appeared to be attempting to change clothing. An officer attempted a motor vehicle stop at that time, and the vehicle fled. Kingston police officers pursued the suspect vehicle. The pursuit lasted approximately 2 minutes, traveling approximately 2 miles, when the suspect vehicle crashed. The vehicle veered off the side of the roadway on Route 27, striking the Kingston Fire Department Station 1, located at 105 Pembroke Street. The operator of the vehicle fled from the vehicle for a short period of time before returning and being taken into custody. Other occupants of the vehicle were also detained. The vehicle struck the fire station in such a way that it severely damaged the generator and portions of the building. Power was temporarily lost in the area, and power lines overhead caught fire. The on-duty fire department personnel reported smoke in the building, and a structure fire of the fire station was assigned, recalling all off-duty personnel and calling for mutual aid. Severe damage was done to various electrical components of the fire station. The roadway was closed for some time while the fire department and Eversource ensured the area was safe. The fire department is now fully operational for calls for service, but various administrative functions may be impacted for several days while repairs are made. The operator of the vehicle was found to be unlicensed and had stolen the motor vehicle from family. The operator was taken into police custody and was also transported to the hospital for minor injuries sustained in the crash. The operator of the vehicle, as well as the two other suspects, are all juveniles, and therefore their identities were not released. Skawira anticipates the parties will face various motor vehicle and assault-related charges, and the investigation remains ongoing. Kingston Police and Fire thanked neighboring agencies for their assistance with the incident. Assisting agencies included Duxbury Fire, Pembroke Fire, Plymouth Fire, Duxbury Police, Pembroke Police, Plymouth County Sheriff's Office K9, and BCI. In community news, our next story is entitled, Massachusetts Attorney General Names Lead Investigator into Death of Trooper Enrique Delgado Garcia, by Ken Pava. Attorney General Andrea Joy Campbell today named Attorney David Meyer to lead an independent investigation into the death of Enrique Delgado Garcia, who died while training to become a member of the Massachusetts State Police. A trial attorney for over 30 years, Meyer is a partner at Todd & Weld, LLP, where he serves as chair of the firm's Government Investigations and Criminal Defense Practice Group. In 2012 to 2013, Meyer served as special counsel to Governor Deval Patrick in overseeing the investigation into the identification of all individuals potentially impacted by the misconduct at the Hinton State Drug Laboratory. Prior to his time in private practice, Meyer was the chief of homicide in the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office, where he supervised the investigation, prosecution, and trial of homicides within Suffolk County. Trooper Delgado Garcia lost his life while training to protect and serve the Commonwealth, and I want to thank his family and the public for their patience as we sought to identify the most appropriate authority to investigate the facts surrounding his tragic death, said Attorney General Campbell. Today, I am appointing Attorney David Meyer to lead that investigation. Mr. Meyer has deep experience in death investigations and will ensure independence and integrity in this matter. The investigation into Trooper Delgado Garcia's death will be undertaken professionally, thoroughly, and responsibly. The Delgado Garcia family, their community, and the public have been waiting patiently. It is now time to get to work, said Attorney Meyer. Meyer will have complete authority to select his own investigative and legal team and to make his own independent decisions about the facts, the evidence, and the course of the investigation. According to the Attorney General, Meyer and the investigative team will be afforded the full support of the Attorney General's office, and the Attorney General's office will be briefed throughout the investigation. The Massachusetts State Police will will have no role in the investigative team or decision-making process. Delgado Garcia of Worcester passed away suddenly while surrounded by loved ones on Friday, September 13, 2024, after injuries sustained during a boxing training exercise as a trainee while at the Massachusetts State Police Academy. The Massachusetts State Police administered the oath of office in Delgado Garcia's final hours of life. He was surrounded by family, loved one, and classmates during the bilingual ceremony, which culminated in him being pinned with his trooper badge. Mystery still surrounds Delgado Garcia's death, and with the Worcester County District Attorney's Office recusing themselves due to their prior working relationship with him, Jesse Rossman, legal director at the ACLU of Massachusetts, released the following statement calling for a federal investigation. The death of Enrique Delgado Garcia and allegations of abuse and discrimination at the Massachusetts State Police Academy require a thorough, independent investigation. Mr. Delgado Garcia reportedly was beaten to death at the State Police Academy more than a week ago. His fatal injuries were reportedly incredibly severe, including damage to his brain, a broken neck, and missing teeth. It is hard to imagine how such injuries could have been inflicted in a closely supervised training environment. Since Mr. Delgado Garcia's death, one of his former classmates has described his own experiences at the academy, alleging severe instances of abuse and discrimination. Against the backdrop of Mr. Delgado Garcia's death, this raises serious questions about whether there is a pattern and practice of discrimination or other systemic illegality at the academy. This has been Carolyn reading to you from the Fall River Reporter on Tuesday, September 24th. I hope you all have a wonderful day.